Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana-shlake Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion on the 7th chapter of Rupa's purports. So here we have discussed how Arjuna surrendered to Krishna. That is the quality of a devotee. So this part is very important. How Arjuna responds. This is a test what Krishna gives. He actually want to make devotee very tough choices. So we'll see how Arjuna passes the test. And because we always want either yes or no or this side or that side, but Krishna wants something completely different. It's a very interesting section. So sorry, we are in 30. Yeah, so we are in 28. So here Arjuna only of Arjuna. So here Krishna is telling actually from 20. Yeah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna's Godhead said. So Vetadam Drona Putrasya Brahma Astram Padarshitam Naivasu Veda Samharam Prarabhan Upastite. So he says that know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy Brahmastra and he does not know how to retract the glare. He had helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. So this we have read yesterday, and then Krishna further says, "O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Nahi asyanyattamam kinchit astram pratyavakarshanam jah astra teja unnadam astragno hi astra tejasa." This is what Krishna is telling. For the atomic bomb, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effect. But by subtle science, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted, and those who are expert in military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. The sons of Dronacharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon, and therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. So it is like anti-ballistic missiles. Launch a missile, you have another missile to counteract it, but anti-ballistic missiles are a very cheaper version of the way that is done in the previous time. So because there are so many other things for anti-ballistic missiles and all, but for this thing just have to chant one mantra and that's it. So Sutta Vacha Shutva Bhagavatan Rokam Falgunam Bharava Viraha Svapastam Parikramya Brahma Brahmastram Sandade. This Sutta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of God, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the another one. I'll just read few purports, then we will discuss. There are some nice important points we can share. So then when the rays of two Brahmastra combined, a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun covered all outer space and whole fragment of planets. Avartya rodashi kamcha vardhate arka vahnivat. It's like fire. So that heat created by the flash of a Brahmastra resembles the fire exhibited in the sun globe at the time of cosmic annihilation. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in compared to the heat produced by a Brahmastra. Atomic bomb explosion can be at most blow up one globe, but the heat produced by the Brahmastra destroys the whole cosmic situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. And this is what is the situation. All the population of the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. The three worlds are the upper, lower, and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the Brahmastra was visited on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the population of all the different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it to that of Samvartaka fire. No planet, therefore, is without living beings, as less intelligent materialistic men think. Prabhupada always just a scientist like this. So pratyopadravya laksha loka व्यतिक्रमं चतम matam cha vasudevasya sanjano vayam. The seeing the disturbance of the general populace and imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Sri Krishna desired. So the theory that the modern atomic bomb explosion can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It's a very important statement for all, especially nowadays. So much propaganda is going on. Propaganda is actually, we can say, even within devotees also. We have some groups. There are groups of all the leaders of South India are there in this. So some devotee post there. See what will happen after 30 years, and some other religions will increase, and they will destroy the Sanatan Dharma followers, this, that, and what will happen to women, children, this, that. Now, Bhagavatam very simply says, ultimately it all rests on the supreme will of Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed also. This is very important. We're discussing external. So, like, we should not be bothered about political situations. Now, next year will be very big political situation in India. Election comes. People are so much bothered about it. What will happen? We need not bother about it, because Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, Prabhupada, don't bother about all this political situation. Just preach. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not overthrow Mughal Empire. He could have empowered King Pratap Rudra in such a way that he could have destroyed all the Mughal Empire. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that these Goswamis, they go to Vrindavan, they make the temples, and the invaders will come and destroy them. Now, why did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being Supreme Lord, he knows that these temples are going to be destroyed in future, just within 100 years, that's all. The temples were built, and after 100 years, they are destroyed. Now, why did Lord Chaitanya not know? If he knows, if he is Supreme Lord, he must be knowing. If he is knowing, why did he not stop it? Why did he not change it? Because what is important is, for us, we should not, because this material world, Lord does not interfere. He says, let it go. We have to be taking pure devotional service very seriously and practice it. This is very clear. So it is foolish also to think the laws of natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's laws work under the direction of Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that there, that natural law work under his supervision. So anything is happening. So there are movies that come showing how things are so bad and other things, but it is sanctioned by the Lord. So if Lord is sanctioning, why we should not accept it? If Lord knows And Bhutva Praliyate, not only just some part of our country will be destroyed, whole universe is destroyed. When Pralaya comes, everything goes into the body of Mahavishnu. That is little. But before that, the Samartaka cloud that is mentioned, Samartaka clouds, at every night of Brahma, everything is gone. Brahma sleeps, and whole night it is in water only. The universe, again, he has to create. So it's all anyway temporary. So we have to, these people who are in different modes, they anyway fight. It is not a question of fight between some religions. It is a fight between the modes of nature. There is always a fight between the modes of nature that is always happening. I may like certain mode, because I like certain mode, my religion will also be like that. And because I have this, because of my ego, I think mine is superior and others are inferior. And there is a fight. I try to impose mine on them and they try to impose on it. And that's all it goes. So we should not be so much bothered about these things. So the world can be destroyed only by the will of Lord and not by the whims of tiny politicians. So clear, Professor. It is not, nobody can destroy. It is only will of Lord that is there. Lord Sri Krishna desired that the weapon released by both Droni and Arjuna be withdrawn. It was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by his will only can one execute what he desires. So this is a very important point for us to understand. Lord desires, then only it happens. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Nobody can touch us. You may be uh, you may be very hot, and we may like no Ukraine, then wet cake happened, and small child, human soul survived. Everybody died in the family. If Lord want to protect, wherever you are, he'll protect. So we should not bother about it. Arjuna, his eyes blazing. Of course, I have to just tell about Ashwatthama. I will after this. When he, again, there are some more points. Yesterday we didn't complete about Ashwatthama because he's anyway going to come. So how he's going to be captured? Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. So Kripi is also called Gautami because she is born to Gautam Rishi. So that's Ashwatthama was born in the form of Gautam. The significant point in this shloka is that Ashwatthama was caught and bound up with the ropes like an animal. According to Siddha Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch the son of Brahmana like an animal as a part of his duty, dharma. This suggestion by Sridhar Swami is also confirmed in the later statements of Sri Krishna. Ashwatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to a lowest status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal, not as a Brahman. Now, here we will just few points about Ashwatthama, which we discussed yesterday. I wanted to explain more in this direction. So here Ashwatthama, he is Krishna told to neutralize this Brahmastra, and he took him captive and he brought him in front of Draupadi. Just we will do how he brings and what Krishna tells. Actually, Krishna immediately listens. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Goddess Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. So here one nice comparison. Both Arjuna and Lord Krishna are described here in angry mood. Previous shloka, Arjuna was angry mood. In this shloka, Krishna is angry. But Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendental and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of the conditioned living beings within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotees, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. Very important point. What it is explaining is our anger is because of modes of nature. Our anger is tamoguna. Lord's anger is not tamoguna. When we become angry, we lose our intelligence. But Lord, because it is not tamoguna, he does not lose any intelligence. He is already transcendental. It's not anything to do with modes. His anger or his pleasure, all are transcendental. So he does not experience what we are experiencing. That is another problem with that's why he sends the devotees. They experience what we are experiencing. They can feel compassion for us and then they deliver. So Lord's compassion is in the form of his pure devotees come in this material world. They also go through what we are going through in terms of the sufferings of this world, and then they deliver us. Thus, Krishna is always transcendental. Of course, Arjuna is also transcendental, but here the comparison is given, even though it is shown, but Arjuna is also beyond modes. He is not affected by tamoguna anytime. Just to explain us this point is made, but as such we should not consider Arjuna. Then Prabhupada also used to become angry sometimes. And immediately in no few seconds he is normal and he is happily talking and joking. And now devotees were not able to understand so much anger and immediately cool, because it is not Tamoguna Prabhupada is becoming. It's transcendental, so he's not affected by the modes. That is the point. And Lord Sri Krishna said, "Oh Arjuna, now here first test for Arjuna. First test is Krishna is telling, oh Lord Sri Krishna said, oh Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep." The word Brahma Bandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed by the relative as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahmana. The son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as a relative of a honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birth, right? But by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahmana. As a high court judge, judgeship is a post for the qualified men, so also the post of a Brahmana is attained by qualification only. The Shastra enjoy that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in a family of a Brahmana is void of Brahmanical qualification, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, a relative of a Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences. And he is about to explain the reasons for this in the following shlokas. So this is what is. Jabala, he goes to Rishi, and then he says, I want to become your disciple. Then Rishi says, I only teach to Brahmanas. So just find out who you are. He says, I don't know what is my caste. I'll go to my mother and check. He goes to mother and asks, who is my father? She says, actually, I have associated many people. I don't know from whom you are born. He goes to the Dhamma and says, I don't know. My mother says she don't know who is my father. Then the says, because you spoke the truth that and you are honest, that means you are a Brahman. You are very simple. So it is not now she is born only like that. But the says no, then his name becomes Satyakama Java. Is Satya. He is always speaking truth. So it is not just birth, it is what qualities a person possesses. So and now Krishna is telling Arjuna, you kill him immediately. But Arjuna does not kill. That is important. Why? Arjuna knows this is Krishna's testimony. And Krishna gives reasons also why he should kill. Krishna says a person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his child. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. Now, Ashwatthama did not follow any of these rules. He says he is not supposed to kill. Now, these people, they are asleep. They don't have any weapon. They are devoid of chariot. And they are careless in the sense because they are sleeping. Now, he does not kill boys. Of course, they came for a warrior, a woman, a foolish creature, or surrender souls. Actually, when Drishtadumna, he says, kill me with it. No, he actually strangles him to death. So Prabhupada writes, an enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. So this is very important. Even Duryodhana also, after the war, warriors used to come and meet each other. So only when the sun rises, conch are blown, till sunset, you can fight and the conch is again blown. So that first 10 days, because Bhishma was there, everybody was following the rule. And after sunset, you can go and meet each other. And again, you start in the morning, you, you kill them. So formally, battles are fought on the principles of religion, but not for the sake of sense gratification. This is very important. So now the wars are happening. The main motive is sense gratification. The night only the fight. In the night the fighter jets comes and bomb the cities. They try to kill innocent people, women, children. There are no dharma yuddhas now. If enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious. Formerly, wars was never declared by the whim of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on the religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. So Prabhupada is the selfish politicians, what wars are happening now that we can see. And Prabhupada is also condemning this so-called non-violence. That is also bogus. And now, further, a cruel, so first reason Krishna gives, this fellow is not supposed to kill them, but he killed. He did not follow religious principles. Ashwatthama is useless in that way. Better you kill him. He says, a cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others, lives others' lives, deserve to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. So better kill him, otherwise he'll get more degraded. This is the second reason he gives. So if we are not living for others, it is better. Our life is waste only in that way. We are not going to get degraded. If people are living for themselves, 100% sure they will degrade. They have to live for others. That is what Krishna is. So this is some selflessness should be there. Then only he is a human being. Otherwise, just animals also live like that. They just live for themselves. They don't know how to live for others. If we are human beings, we should learn to live for others. If we live for ourselves, then it's same thing as an animal. Prabhupada writes a very big purport. He says, a life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of others. So the capital punishment is actually good for a person. Because what happens, Prabhupada says that here he writes, because he will be elevated in next life, otherwise he will be more punished. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. This is what is capital punishment. That a murder is condemned to death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for a murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him, and it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principles of life for a life are purified of all their sins, so much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. So, like now the government or the court, they forgive people. They got death sentence. They apply in the Supreme Court because of their they might have murdered or some 2-3 murders they do. So instead of then some of them they get death sentence. They go to court and then they say, okay, exempted. You can stay lifelong in prison. Now problem is it is more dangerous for them. They'll go to hell. But if they accepted capital punishment, it is actually good. So, according to one of the great authority of civil courts, the religious princes, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murder, exactly like a party of conspiracy who kills a human being combinedly. So Prabhupada is telling, he who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the food, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. No one can create a living being despite all advancement of material science, and therefore no one has a right to kill a living being by his independent whims. From sorry. For the animal eaters, the scriptures have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifices only, and such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of slaughterhouses and not to encourage animal killing. The procedure under which animal sacrifices is allowed in the uh, human form of allowed in the scriptures is good both for the animal sacrifice and the animal eater. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar, and the animal eater is saved from the gross type of sins, eating meat supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of material afflictions to society, country, and the people in general. The material world in itself, a place where always full of anxiety, and by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities. This is actually what is happening in the present society. So the wars are because purposes people are eating meat. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her son. So Krishna gives 3 reasons for Arjuna to kill Ashwatthama. First is he's not supposed to kill, and he killed. If you give him capital punishment, it is actually a protection to him. And third reason he says that you have promised Draupadi, so better kill him. This man is an assassin and murder of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnant of his family. Kill him immediately. So, but son of Dronacharya is combined here as a burnt remnants of his family. The good name of Dronacharya was very much respected. Although he joined the enemy camp, the Pandavas held him always in respect, and Arjuna saluted him before beginning the fight. There is nothing wrong in that way. But the son of Dronacharya degraded himself by committing act which was never done by the Dvijas or the twice born higher caste. Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, committed murder by killing the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, by which he dissatisfied his master Duryodhana, who never approved of the heinous act of killing the 5 sleeping sons of the Pandavas. This means that Ashwatthama became an assaulter of Arjuna's own family, and thus he was liable to be punished by him. In the Shastras, he was he who attacks without notice or kills from behind or set fire to another's house or kidnaps one's wife is condemned to death. Krishna reminded Arjuna of these factors so that he may take notice of them and do the needful. And the same Hatvata Atataina. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells the reason for Arjuna is fighting. They're Atatais. So better kill them. And here, what did Arjuna do? This is first test. So 2 tests Arjuna faces, and both of them Arjuna pass. We'll see how Arjuna is passing. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, we don't know it. Sutta Goswami understands how Krishna is examining Arjuna in religion. Encourage Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya. Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. So the point is, Krishna himself is telling Arjuna to kill, and Arjuna is not obeying. He told in Bhagavad Gita, Karishye Vachanam Tava. But why he is not obeying? The verse is, Arjuna was a great soul undoubtedly, which is proved here also. He is encouraged herein personally by the Lord to kill the son of Drona. But Arjuna considered that the son of his great teacher should be spared, for he happened to be the son of Dronacharya, even though he is an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for one's own benefit. Lord Sri Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. It is not that Arjuna was incapable in the sense of duty, nor was Lord Sri Krishna unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty, but Lord Sri Krishna puts many of his pure devotees to the test just to magnify their sense of duty. The gopis were put to such test as well. Prahlad Maharaj was also put to such test. All pure devotees come out successfully in respective tests by the Lord. So this is to prove how great is Arjuna. So this is the first part. And now we'll see the second test Arjuna is going to face. But here Arjuna's glory we can understand. Now we can understand Draupadi's glories and other Pandavas' glories in this section, where when Ashwatthama was brought to the camp, how did they respond? This is a very important lesson we need to learn. So after reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Sri Krishna, entrusted the murder onto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. The transcendental relation of Arjuna and Krishna is of the dearmost friend. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself has claimed Arjuna as his dearmost friend. Every living being is thus related with the Supreme Lord by some sort of affectionate relation, either as a servant, or as friend, or as parent, or as an object of conjugal love. Everyone thus can enjoy the company of Lord in spiritual if he at all desires and sincerely tries for it by the process of bhakti yoga. So this is how we can develop a relation. So now how did Draupadi respond? So from here we have a different section. This is a very important section also for us to understand. This maybe tomorrow I'll explain in detail. We'll just read the purport and then tomorrow we can have more detailed discussion of how does Krishna test and what he is expecting. So here we'll see what is the fight, what is the test we'll understand today and solution tomorrow. Sri Sudha Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having uh, enacted the most inglorious murder due to her feminine nature, due to her female nature, and due to her being naturally good and well behaved. She showed him due as it is okay, female nature is there, but she's naturally good and well behaved. So we were discussing also of all the Pandavas, Draupadi is the most closest to Krishna. That is explained. She is good, well behaved, and showed respect to Brahmanas. Now, now just few hours before only, this person killed all her sons and ran away when they were sleeping. Killing not in a battlefield. That would have been little fair. Okay, they were also fighting, trying to kill each other and so on. Now they are just sleeping and he just comes and butchers them. Ashwatthama was condemned by the Lord himself and he was treated by Arjuna just like a culprit, not like the son of a Brahmana or teacher. But when he was brought before Srimati Draupadi, she, although be grieved for the murder of her sons, and although murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to a Brahmana or to the son of a Brahmana. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women as a class are like uh, women as a class are like boys, and therefore they have no discriminative pro like that of a man. I'll explain this. Ashwatthama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority, Lord Sri Krishna. Yet, as a mild woman, could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. So this actually is a very important factor. So man is more discriminating. So the psychophysical nature is created in such a way, man is either rational or emotional. He cannot be in between. Discussed this before also. Woman has both. She is rational and emotional together. She can be. That is the advantage. It is advantage also, disadvantage also. That's why they are able to take care of children. Otherwise, it is not possible to take care of children or family. You need to have parallelly both brains working, either left brain or right brain. If only one part is working, men are very emotional, very rational. They go in extremes. Women are balanced. That's why men need company of women to get balanced. Balance is, of course, metal world. There's no balance, but some balance is needed. Like uh, examples is I have told, but again I will repeat so that you will understand the concept very clearly. If a child is crying and you have to take care of child, you need to show emotion to the child, and also you need to think how to take care. The child is crying, she is able to take care of him. Also, try to do whatever is needful, feed him or do these things, work for him, both, and that is actually very much needed when it comes to care. Men, he cannot understand. That's why for him, 2 days you just keep children, they will run away. This is not possible. They can show love also and they can think also, because one is emotional, one is rational, parallel they can. And For man, if say some person dies in the family, women they cannot do anything. They broke down. They just cry. But man immediately uses his means he has this rational part. The person dies, he knows, okay, what should I do? Go get this person, call these people, do all the remaining things. Man can do it. Woman cannot do. She will be emotionally broken. That time for her not possible. Man is rational. And when man is emotional, that is he gets into addictions. So all these addictions, smoking, drinking, and all, women don't get so easily because they have this discrimination. They can do both together. Men are the most addicts are men only. Even though there is such a warning, statutory warning, and they are seeing that many people after alcohol they get cirrhosis and they die, cancer, and all these things. But still they cannot stop because that is their emotional part. They cannot use their rational brain that time. So extreme, either emotional or rational. Women, that's why they don't get addicted. But it is helpful in taking care of children, family, and other things. So here this discriminatory power is what? This discriminatory power is uh, like she's seeing that this fellow killed, but she has that part also, the part of emotional part, which cannot say that okay. That's why we all go to mothers to get our things done. And fathers, if you want to get anything, many of them know you have to go to mother and just catch mother, your things are done because she's very soft. And that's why we go through Srimati Radharani or Lakshmi Devi because they are mothers. Directly go to Krishna, you may not get very less chance. But you go to Krishna and sorry, we go to Srimati Radharani, we are sure that she will definitely help us. So because she is mother. So the system is like that. It is not right or wrong. The system is created for certain requirements. So otherwise there is no balance. So we discuss this. Only men in this world is such a boring thing. If there is no woman, only men are there. What men will do? Brahmacharis, they like sleeping because there is no activity. So when only women are there, it is also boring. So Lord created a system where men are there and women are there. And then everything happens. All the pastimes and all creation, everything happens because woman is Shakti and it makes things happen in this world. And one more important, we were men also in many life and women also in many life. So you cannot say that I am man or woman. Our soul is actually not man. Of course, Prakriti in one way, but the body, external body, man or woman, we have gone through. I might have been woman in many lifetimes, man in many lifetimes. So we cannot just say that this is right, wrong. According to our swabhava, we get certain type. We get certain type of body like that. So my gross body, which I am seeing, is actually the manifestation of my settled body. So my settled body, I have trained it as a man. I get a man body. If I settle body is more like a woman, then I get a woman body. It's like that. Even to date, in Hindu family, woman shows proper respect to the Brahmana caste, however fallen the heinous a Brahma Bandhu may be. But the men have begun to protest against the Brahma Bandhus who are born in the family of good Brahmanas, but by action are less than Shudras. The specific use in this shloka, Vam Swabhava, mild and gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of women and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Ashwatthama may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahman. So, okay, we will end here. Thank you all very much. Any comments, questions? Nothing then. Oh, can we extend? Yeah, I don't have problem. I can extend, but not many are able to attend. So good, kind of. Yeah, yes, Shamakun Proistling. But all this by all these purports now getting better understanding how Kali has conquered the mind of mostly everyone except devotees. Actually, some devotees are also captured. I will explain how tomorrow. Okay, thank you all very much. Uh, uh, because 2 hours you are sitting, I feel little sad. 7:15 to 8:15, 8:15 to 9:15. It's 2 hours, so it will be heavy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I have some nice things to share tomorrow, maybe about Ashwatthama and other